A battle has been brewing in Formula 1 between McLaren's Lando Norris and Red Bull's Max Verstappen. The two close friends have recently turned into on-track rivals, with McLaren's car improving far quicker than Red Bull's. In Austria, that rivalry bubbled over as the on-track battles that fans have been baying for the last 2 years finally exploded into life. A rare mistake from Red Bull and a multi-lap battle that ended in disaster for both drivers has split the two and divided F1's fanbase. Today, I'll check out the fallout from it all, so don't go anywhere. The Austrian Grand Prix hadn't shaped up to be the showstopper it turned into. Verstappen had utterly dominated qualifying. His advantage of 0.404 seconds during the Grand Prix qualifying was actually his biggest all season and came at one of Formula 1's shortest laps. He was pressured early on during the sprint race by Lando Norris, but after Piastri made the most of Norris's desperation to make a move for the lead, Max pulled a relatively comfortable gap which left him untroubled for the remainder of the race. Max defended excellently during those early laps in the sprint, and Lando couldn't find a move to get past him. It was a sign of what was to come during the Grand Prix. As the lights went out on Sunday, Verstappen pulled an early lead from the first corner, and from then on, the TV cameras paid him no attention, with everyone expecting the three-time world champion to dominate from that position, considering his qualifying performance. But then, despite Verstappen holding what appeared to be a race-winning 7-second advantage midway through the 71-lap Grand Prix, tyre issues, a slow pit stop, and a lock-up meant Norris, who had been running second all race, closed up on the back of the RB20. What followed was a thrilling 10-lap tussle between the two good friends. While Norris tried to pass several times into turn 3 and complained that Verstappen was making double moves to block him, it reached a tipping point on lap 64 when the McLaren driver attempted yet another move, this time around the outside into the turn 3 braking zone. It is almost a move to nothing, with the tight right-hander offering almost no space to go too wide. If the overtaking car goes to the outside on that corner, they're normally hoping that the defending car on the inside brakes late and overshoots, giving the overtaking car a chance to undercut them and complete the turn quicker, getting a head start on the acceleration phase on corner exit, and then pass them on the straight. In this case, that didn't happen. Verstappen moved to the left to block Norris, the Briton stuck to his line, and the two touched with both cars sustaining rear punctures. Norris limped back to the pits to retire his MCL 38, while Verstappen pitted for fresh rubber and finished in 5th position, a position he held onto despite a 10-second time penalty for causing a collision. Norris's car had been badly damaged on the way back to the pits, and even with fresh tyres, he didn't think it was drivable. The stewards later added to Verstappen's punishment with 2 penalty points on his super license, bringing his tally to 4 in the last 12 months. Giving out the penalty, the stewards said, Car 1, Verstappen's, was approaching turn 3 with Car 4, Norris's, alongside on his left. Before turning in, the driver of Car 1 moved to the left, causing a collision with Car 4. The stewards determined that the driver of Car 1 was predominantly at fault, and therefore imposed the above-mentioned penalty in line with precedents. It was a decision that many agreed with. Before their crash on lap 64, which gave both a puncture, Norris had already complained a number of times about Verstappen changing his line in the braking zone, or moving under braking as it is known in F1. Because of the danger this involves, as drivers are right on the edge in an overtaking move, this is very much frowned upon. While Norris could have attempted to perform the switchback on Verstappen instead of trying to go around the outside, which would have avoided the contact was caused by Verstappen changing line under braking. Afterwards, Norris was blunt in his assessment of what had happened. I expect a tough battle against Max. I know what to expect. I expect aggression and pushing the limits, he said. But all 3 times, he's doing stuff that can easily cause an incident, and in a way, it's just a bit reckless. It seemed like a little bit desperate from his side. The pair have been good friends for some time, but there was exasperation and anger from Norris, who is the leading challenger to Verstappen in the title race, 81 points behind the Dutchman. I don't think I need to change anything I'm doing. I was on the edge of the track. I don't know what else I'm able to do. He's always a bit like that, Norris said. There's times where I think he goes a little bit too far. Asked if this would affect their relationship, the McLaren driver said, It depends what he says. If he says he did nothing wrong, then I'll lose a lot of respect for that. If he admits to being a bit stupid and running into me and being a bit reckless in that way, then I'll lose only a small amount of respect for him. It's a tough one to take when fighting for the win. I was trying to be fair from my side, and he just wasn't. After the race, Verstappen wasn't keen to take responsibility for the incident, saying that he didn't move under braking. When it was put to him that many pundits and ex-drivers of the race thought that he had been moving under braking when the incident happened and before it, he said, "So everyone can have their own opinion, but I'm the one driving, so I think I'm best in control." Then asked if he would speak to Lando about the incident, he said, "Of course we'll talk about it. At the moment, I think it's not the right point. It's better to just let things cool off, I think, ideally." Lando was also asked the same thing, whether he would speak to Verstappen about it or not, and said, "It's not for me to say, it's for him to say something. I did nothing wrong. He was the one in the wrong. So he's the one that should say something, not me." With the British Grand Prix just a week away, there won't be much time for tempers to cool before the two are battling on track again. Unfortunately for Lando, his retirement and Max's ability to keep going meant that Verstappen actually extended his championship lead over the weekend to 81 points, a greater gap than if Lando had finished second and Max had won. McLaren did manage to make progress in the Constructors' Championship thanks to Oscar Piastri's surprise second-place finish after the two leaders collided. In the grand scheme of the championship so far, the outcome of the race doesn't change much. Max still looks the out-and-out favourite for a fourth consecutive driver's title, and Red Bull still have a healthy lead in the Constructors' standings. It could have a huge impact on what is to come though. Now that a collision has happened, the battle that has been brewing between Lando and Max is set to explode. The McLaren team principal Andrea Stella backed up his driver with a damning view of what happened, making reference to when Verstappen was accused of questionable driving when competing with Lewis Hamilton in the 2021 championship. "The entire population of the world knows who was responsible," he said. "If you don't address these things honestly, they'll come back. They weren't addressed properly in the past when there were fights with Lewis that needed to be punished in a harsher way." The battle between the two in 2021 was some of the most exciting in more than a decade in Formula One and ignited the passions of Formula One's fanbase. For the neutrals, it made incredible watching, and if Norris and Verstappen continue to clash on track as the season progresses, then it will be a treat for fans once again. However, Mercedes boss Toto Wolff, who was at the heart of that thrilling championship battle 3 years ago, quashed the notion that comparisons should be made between the two. "I don't think you can take this conclusion," Wolff stated when Stella's view was put to him post-race. "It's been so long, and from our side, we're in a different place today, and I think he is. It takes two to tango. I haven't seen Lando and Max's race, to be honest. I haven't seen how all of that came about. I first need to watch it before I have an opinion, but I wouldn't see that as a big consequence of 2021 not having been managed well to what happened in 2024. I don't think they have a correlation." The British Grand Prix played host to one of the most memorable moments of the 2021 season when Lewis Hamilton sent Max Verstappen flying into the barriers in a collision that generated over 50 G of force on the Red Bull driver, knocking him unconscious in the car. With tensions at an all-time high at the front of the grid between Norris and Verstappen, Silverstone could provide yet another unforgettable race this weekend. What's your opinion on this collision? Is this just the beginning of their battle or a one-off incident? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and until next time, drive safe and bye for now.